Good morning to the second year students. Today's topic is also regarding in MSN, that is in medical surgical nursing. In medical surgical nursing, today we are going to discuss regarding the valvular disorders. So all the people what is meant by the valve and where it is situated. We'll see the brief anatomy of this and brief introduction of these valves. After this, we'll go into the what is the problems generally, what all problems are facing in valves. So we'll see one by one. First, before going into the topic, we'll have a brief anatomy of this topic. Actually, atrioventricular valves. So we are having atrium, and in in between the atrium and ventricles, the valves are present. So it may separate the atrium and ventricles. So this includes what it includes: tricuspid valve and mitral valve. So this tricuspid valve which separates the right atrium and right ventricle. Remember this one. So T separates the right atrium and right ventricles. This mitral valves will separate the left atrium and left ventricles. And moreover, the tricuspid valve, it is having a structurally the valve is having a 3 leaflets. So mitral valve is having a 2 leaflets. So remember this one. So in right atrium, blood will be receiving. Left atrium, from the right atrium and in the left atrium, the blood will receive from the lungs. From in right atrium, blood will receive from the peripheral organs or from the peripheral vessels. It will be received. That is the thing. So definitely these valves play a major role. So these valves makes a sound. The sounds is called as laptop. So and moreover, both valves have a chordae tendineae and the anchor of the leaflets to the papillary muscles of the ventricles. So we'll see this. So semilunar valves, these we are also having semilunar valves which are located between the ventricles and their corresponding arteries, and between the ventricles and to the corresponding arteries they are present. Pulmonary valve lies between the right ventricle and pulmonary artery. Okay, got it? This pulmonary valve which lies between the right ventricle and pulmonary artery, and aortic valve which lies between the left ventricle and the aorta. Okay, that will go to the blood supply. It will supply to the ascending part and descending part supply. So pulmonary valves, it is between the right ventricle and pulmonary artery. When any of the heart valves do not close, so if anything occurs, do not close properly or open properly, the blood flow definitely it will be affected. So definitely. So some of the disorders, what are the disorders you will see? So we are having a mitral valve prolapse, mitral valve regurgitation, mitral valve stenosis, mitral valve regurgitation, and aortic regurgitation and aortic stenosis. So these are all some of the disorders we are going to have because of improper closure or cannot able to close the valves because of due to any disease, because of any heart problems or any muscular problems. Because of that it cannot able to do. So you remember actually these atrioventricular valves especially separate the atria and ventricles. These are two valves. What are that? Tricuspid valve and mitral valve. Obviously tricuspid is in right side, mitral will be in the left side, and the semilunar valves and pulmonary valves. So the semilunar valves or the valves in semilunar valves we are having two. What are that? These will be in the semilunar shape. So because it called as in semilunar valves. So these valves are pulmonary valve and aortic valve. Aortic valve, it is present between the left ventricle and aorta. Pulmonary valve, it is in the right ventricle and pulmonary artery. This is the thing. So moreover, we'll go in detail. So this is the valves. So these are the pulmonary valves, and this one is an aortic valve. So this is an tricuspid valve, and this is an mitral valve. So how it is? When opened, it look like this. When closed, it looks like this. So you remember this one. So obviously this is a pulmonary wall, aortic wall, tricuspid and mitral wall. So the parts of the heart wall. What are the parts you'll see? This is an inner part. This is an anterior leaflet. So this round, this is called as annulus. This is an anterior annulus and the posterior annulus. The anterior annulus and this is the posterior annulus. And one more thing is we are having a lateral papillary muscles. So these will help us to close and open. So these papillary muscles and these string-like structures are called as chordae tendineae. Chordae tendineae are directly attached to the leaflets of the walls. So to this these lateral and medial papillary muscles are there. So with the help of these muscle contractions, the wall will close and opens. So definitely anterior leaflet, posterior leaflet. So anterior medial commissions and posterior medial commissions. So these are the commissions are nothing but just line-like structures. So these are just you remember this is having a anterior leaflet, anterior, posteriorly 3 lobes are there. So composed of chordae tendineae and papillary muscles. So these play a major role. Epidemiology. So RHD is mainly leading to the valvular diseases. So rheumatic heart diseases, most probably they may lead to the valvular disorders in developing countries. It has been estimated that 79% of the 15.6 to 19.6 million people live with RHDs today in developing countries, and 2.5 million people in India are suffering from rheumatic heart disease, which involves valvular dysfunction. Epidemiology. This aortic stenosis, approximately 3% of the people over age of 75 and 4% of the people over the age of 85. It is the most common valvular heart disease in the developed world. 2% of the population is having mitral regurgitation, commonly in elderly. The mitral stenosis is most common valvular heart disease. So mitral stenosis is the most common valvular heart disease in the pregnancy. So causes of the valvular disease. What are all the causes? The congenital heart disease, one thing, and rheumatic heart disease, and infections. Infections are mostly bacterial endocarditis and heart attack. In heart attack, what will be happening? The damage of the heart muscles. Because of the damage of the heart muscles, the papillary muscles also be affected. So because of this damage, the valvular problems can be seen, and weakening of the supporting structures of the heart because of the weakened supporting structures. The congenital heart disease, rheumatic heart disease, because of any bacterial infections and damaged heart muscles and papillary muscles because of heart attack, and weakening supporting of the structures of the heart. So types of wall disease, mostly prolapse. How will the stenosis will be this look like? The wall does not open all the way and not enough blood will passes through, so it cannot able to open fully. So because of the stenosis, because regurgitation is the wall does not close, so it cannot, in regurgitation wall does not close, so backflow of the blood will be there. Here it cannot able to open, so because of the stenosis formation. In prolapse, the prolapse is a normal mitral wall. Here the normal mitral wall, the prolapse, how will it look? It may completely prolapse is outpoaching and matter. So the wall will be look like this. So the structure will be altered. So what mitral will see mitral wall prolapse. Mitral wall prolapse is a stretching of the wall leaflet. So there will be a stretching of the wall leaflet into the atrium. So you have seen in the picture, no? This will be a stretching. It will be stretching into the left atrium. Because of this into the atrium, this mitral valve has been stretching. It is more frequently seen in women than the man, mostly inherited connective tissue disorders. It is because enlargement of one or both mitral valves. Because of the enlargement of this one or both mitral valve leaflets, the annulus often dilates. Definitely the annulus, what will be happening, annulus will be dilated, the conda tendineae and papillae will be elongated more and more. So because of this in connective disorders, what will happen, there will be enlargement of both or one of the mitral valve leaflets. Because of this enlargement, annulus will often dilate, it may be dilated. Because of this dilation, the chordae tendineae and papillae will be elongated. Because of this extra stretching, it will be very elongated. So, and moreover, mitral valve prolapse, a portion of the mitral valve leaflet balloon backs into the atrium. During systole, blood may regurgitate from the left ventricle to the left atrium. So it may regurgitate to the left ventricles to the left atrium, it may regurgitate back. So many people have this, sometimes the people may not have a symptoms. So sometimes they may have fatigue, shortness of breath, dizziness, syncope, palpitation, chest pain, anxiety can be seen. Major finding is an mitral click, means asystolic click, some sort of murmur can be seen in this. Because of this black flow, some sort of click can be seen. That is a major finding. Assessment, physical examination reveals an heart sounds. So it definitely reveals heart sound. That's a mitral click. And Doppler echocardiogram will help us to diagnose and monitor the prognosis of the mitral valve prolapse. So not only that, medical management include patient advised to eliminate, definitely they have to advise to eliminate the caffeine and alcohols from the diet and stop smoking. Prophylactic antibiotics can be given, antiarrhythmic medications can be given, calcium channel blockers and beta blockers can be given, and moreover surgery can be surgeries or valve replacement. Because of the surgery, suggested valve replacement and valvuloplasty. So moreover, mitral regurgitation. So mitral regurgitation is nothing but a black backflow of the blood into the atrium. So this is so there will, what will be happening, because why it will be happening, because of incomplete closure of the mitral valve. So why? Because the margins of valve cannot able to close completely during the ventricular systole. During the ventricular systole, these valves, the margins of the valves cannot able to close completely. Because of this, it may leading to the backflow of the blood from the left ventricle to the left atrium. So it is because of incomplete, mainly it is because of incomplete closure of the mitral valve. So, and moreover, main causes are tear, because of the tear and shortening or elongation of the leaflets or chordae tendineae, annulus and papillary muscles. Because of this shortening or elongation of the this, what will be happening, the mitral valve cannot able to close. So shorten if the elongation aina whatever thing, the leaflets anyway it cannot able to close. So more, not only that, some of the other conditions like myxomatous changes. So what is this myxomatous changes means what will be happening here, this will be which enlarges and stretches the left atrium. So what will be happening, the left atrium becomes enlarged and stretched. Because of this enlargement and stretch in the left atrium and ventricles, so the leaflets and chordae tendineae also stretch and rupture occurs. Because of this, it may not able to close completely. This the one thing is, and not only this, ineffective endocarditis. In case of ineffective endocarditis, in this cause, what will be happening over here means perforation of the leaflets. So the leaflets may become perforation or sometimes scar formation. After the infection, there will be a scarring formation. Because of this, the retraction of the leaflets or retraction of this leaflets, and not only the retraction of the leaflets but also chordae tendineae is also retracted. Because of this retraction, it may not able to close. due to perforation the leaflets cannot able to close. Collagen vascular diseases. So in collagen vascular diseases means one of the example is a systemic lupus erythematosus, that is nothing but the SLE. This is a immune disorder. In these immune disorders, the cardiomyopathy and not only that, cardiomyopathy and ischemic heart disease is also one of the collagen vascular disease. Because of this, there will be changes in the left ventricle. What will be happening? Changes because the left ventricular changes. These left ventricular changes will affect the papillary muscles and chordae tendineae of the leaflets, chordae tendineae or leaflets to stretch or to become shortened or rupture. Because of this, so overall the causes are because of due to stretching or enlarging or becoming shortened. Because of these causes, the wall cannot able to close properly. Because it may not able to close properly, the blood will be backflowed. So, and moreover pathophysiology. So pathophysiology, what will mitral wall leaflets shorten or tear, chordae tendineae may elongates and shorten or tear sometimes. What will be happening? Annulus may stretch by the enlargement or deformed by calcification. The papillary muscles may rupture and stretch. They pulled out of the position by changes in the ventricular wall. So this is actually what will be happening over here? Only the shortening and stretching of the chordae tendineae and the annulus and then papillary muscles. Because of this, annulus becomes dilated. Because of this dilation, it may not able to close properly. Because of this, what will happen? Not able to close. Because of incomplete closure, there will be backflow of the blood into the left atrium. Because of this backflow of the into the left atrium, the left atrial pressure will be increased. Whenever the left atrial pressure increases, pressure and volume also increases. Because of this increasing pressure and volume, what will be happening? The left atrial hypertrophy may occur. Because of this left atrial hypertrophy, the pulmonary pressure is also increases. Because of increasing pulmonary pressure, right ventricular pressure may be increased. Because of this right ventricular pressure is increased, the mostly suggested that right-sided heart failure may occur. Not only that, because of the presence of the volume in the blood ejected by the left ventricle, what will be happening? The output is also been decreased. So cardiac, that is nothing but cardiac output is also decreased. What is the clinical features? So definitely dyspnea, fatigue, weakness, palpitations, cough, and paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea may be having, and lower extremities edema, syncope, and atrial fibrillations, and there is a left ventricular enlargement. The BB, definitely the patient may go into the hypotension. Decrease. And diagnostic evaluation, the patient because of this high pitch, the sound, how the sound, so we have to, first of all we have to see the pulse will be regular and having a good volume. Sometimes the patient may have a irregular because extra systolic beats or atrial fibrillations will be there. So, and moreover heart sounds, how it may be high pitched, a blowing sound at the apex of the heart. So at when we auscultate the heart at that time, low pitched, so low pitch and some sorts of blowing sound can be seen, heard. And Doppler echocardiogram. So in Doppler echocardiogram is used to diagnose and monitor how the disease has been progressing. So we can able to monitor that. And not only that, one more examination is a transesophageal echocardiogram. So this is also one of the diagnostic procedure. In these procedures, usually you had seen that echocardiogram means with the help of the probe on the surface of the body. Usually with the help of the sound waves, we can able to see the see, we can able to diagnose. But in this, what will be happening? Transesophageal, which just like bronchoscopy, so esophageal probe can be passed through the esophagus. So through the esophagus, echocardiogram can be done, mostly because it can provide a best images of the mitral valve. So because of this, we can have this transesophageal echocardiogram. So management, definitely medical management includes vasodilators. These vasodilators are nothing but the angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. So these angiotensin enzyme inhibitors and ARBs, so angiotensin receptor blockers. So these angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors, these are the some of the prill type of drugs. So definitely by completing the CVS system in pharmacology, either in MSN or in pathology, definitely you should remember in pathology you should remember the pathological changes. In MSN you have to remember regarding the nursing management and medical management, and moreover in pharmacology you have to see the pharmacological drugs. So by completion of these chapters, so I already completed, you have to say what is meant by diuretic. So you have to, మీరు ఖచ్చితంగా యూ హ్యావ్ టు సే టిప్స్లో ఉండాలి మీకు అంతా అబౌట్ హైపర్ టెన్షన్ డ్రగ్స్ అంటే ఏంటి, డయోరెటిక్స్ అంటే ఏంటి, లేదా ఏట్రియల్ మయోకార్డియల్ డ్రగ్స్ ఏంటి. సో దట్ హ్యాస్ టు బీ ఇన్ ద టిప్స్. సో ఐఎమ్ రికరెంట్లీ సేయింగ్, సో రికరెంట్లీ ఐఎమ్ ఆస్కింగ్ యూ టు write in the medical surgical nursing also. So definitely you have to write, so what are all the drugs will come, what is their action. So write practicing in medical surgical nursing also. So diuretics, if atrial fibrillation is present, so whenever the atrial fibrillation is present, patient is giving digoxin. So digoxin anticoagulant, and also anticoagulant is also given. So surgical correction, so definitely for the surgical correction, mitral valve repair, so mitral valve repair is also done, or sometimes mitral valve is replaced. So not only that, valvoplasty is also one of the procedure. The valvoplasty is nothing but repair, so this can also be done. So coming to the mitral stenosis, the mitral stenosis, it is also most common valvular disorders in rheumatic endocarditis, may also be caused by the bacterial infection, or because of the thrombus formation, or because of the calcification. Because of this, what will be happening? Obstruction of the blood flow from the left atrium to the left ventricle. What will be happening over here? There will be obstruction of the blood flow from the left atrium to the left ventricle. So mitral stenosis is a disorder in which mitral valve does not open fully. So mitral valve, it may not able to open fully. Because of this, the flow will be restricted. So because of this, mostly you see this is how it looks because of this obstruction. Fish mouth mitral stenosis. So it when you see the fish mouth is also look like this. So normal opening of the mitral valve is between the 4 to 6 centimeter square. So mild valve area 1.6 to 2.0. In moderate valve 1 to 1.5. In severe cases, it is maybe less than or equal to the 1 centimeter square. So this much amount. Generally, normally it has to be 4 to 6 centimeters. So 4 to 6 centimeters means we can able to this is 4. So we can able to put our 2 fingers. So not only this, rheumatic endocarditis. So in case of rheumatic endocarditis, what will be happening? Mitral valve leaflets and chordae tendineae, progressively they become thick. Because of this thickening, the leaflets often fuses together. So because of this thickness or enlargement, the leaflets often fuse together. Because of this fusion, the mitral valve orifice narrows. and because of this narrow, so the blood cannot able to flow into the ventricles. So what will be happening when because of this narrowing, definitely atrial pressure will be increased. The patient may go into the pulmonary congestion and pulmonary edema also. Sometimes because of this hypertrophy of the left atrium we can be seen, and decreased left atrium. Because of this decrease of the left atrium, the cardiac output may be decreased, and because of this decrease, left atrium atrophy may occurs. What will be happening over there? The atrophy may occurs. Because of this left ventricular atrophy and fatigue may be seen because of decreasing. So in case of left ventricular pressure increases, because of this pressure increases, pulmonary pressure is also increases. Because of this pulmonary pressure increases, the pulmonary congestion may occurs. Because of this, what will be happening? Carbon dioxide and oxygen exchange may be decreased. Because of this decreased carbon dioxide and oxygen exchange, the patient may have a dyspnea. Not only dyspnea, fatigue, sometimes orthopnea can also be seen. So it may leads to the, not only because of pulmonary congestion, can leads to the right sided heart failure. So some of the clinical manifestations. So we can patient may have a dry cough, wheezing, orthopnea, paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea, breathlessness, cough can be seen, hemoptysis can be seen because of the pulmonary congestion or pulmonary embolization formation. The hemoptysis can be seen. Fatigue may be due to because of the low cardiac output. Edema and the ascites can be seen due to because of right sided heart failure. Palpitation because of atrial fibrillation, and thromboembolic complications because the thromboembolic was stagnation of the blood in the left atrium. So assessment. So definitely we have to assess the pulse. The pulse will be weak, irregular. So remember these points. So when the pulse will be weak, irregular, there will be atrial fibrillation will be there. Because, and not only that, heart sounds how will be low pitched and rumbling can be seen. So it will also be low pitched sound can be heard. And not only this, Doppler echocardiogram can done to diagnose the mitral stenosis. ECG and cardiac catheterization can with angiographic studies may help us to determine the severity of the mitral stenosis. So definitely the ECG here, when you see this is a P wave. So the P enlargement of, because of the left atrium has been enlarged, the mitral valve P wave, the gap can be seen. Not only right ventricular hypertrophy. So not only this, medical management. So will you go with the medical management, the patient has to be taken anticoagulants. So anticoagulants are reduce the risk of systemic embolism formation, and digoxin or beta blockers can be given to control the ventricular rate or atrial fibrillations. To control that, digoxin or beta blockers can be advised. Not only that, to relieve the pulmonary congestion, diuretics can be given. And not only that, surgical management, one of the procedure is a mitral balloon valvoplasty. So this mitral balloon valvoplasty can be done, and valvotomy is a creating otomy can be done to create a way or valve replacement. So this is a valvoplasty. So this is a balloon valvoplasty, how they will perform. If the patient is symptomatic, or in case of a severe mitral valve stenosis, the surgery is needed. So valvoplasty, whenever it may open or closes, the mitral commissurotomy or fused commissure of the mitral valve are open. So definitely mitral commissurotomy means this commissures are there now. So this commissures can be removed. After this commissures removed, the mitral valve will some sort open, and then balloon can be installed. So with the help of the balloon, the mitral balloon will make the mitral wall to become enlarged. అంటే ఏం లేదు, త్రూ ద బెలూన్ అనేది ట్యూబ్, one of the tube can be passed. The tube is nothing but guide wires. So the guide wires we are having specialized guide wires will be there. To that guide wire specialized balloons. సో ఆఫ్టర్ ఎంటరింగ్ ఇంటి అంటే మీరు ఫోలీస్ చూస్తారు కదా, ఫోలీస్కి మామూలుగా వేసేటప్పుడు టిప్లో మనం బెలూన్ అనేది చూడం. ఆఫ్టర్ ఎంటరింగ్ ఇంటి ఆఫ్టర్ ఇన్ఫ్లేటింగ్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్ అది బెలూన్ అనేది ఇన్ఫ్లేట్ అవుతుంది. అలాగే ఇక్కడ కూడా వాల్వోప్లాస్టీలో కూడా అలాగే చేస్తారనమాట. సో ఆఫ్టర్ ఎంటరింగ్ ఇంటి మైట్రల్ వాల్ దగ్గర కరెక్ట్గా పెట్టిన తర్వాతనే అది బెలూన్ అనేది ఇన్ఫ్లేట్ చేయడం వల్ల కొంచెం వే క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది. బికాస్ సో దట్ ఈస్ ద థింగ్. So not only this, we are also having aortic stenosis and aortic regurgitation. So with this, not only this, nursing management. So overall nursing management will deal in the second part. So you consider it as a first part. So in second part, I will deal with the nursing management, the aortic regurgitation and aortic stenosis. So okay. Thank you girls. Listen carefully, and moreover drugs, definitely in CVS drugs very important, so you have to write it very clearly. So don't forget, eppudu chaduta undandi pharmacology, pathology. Thank you.